Hello, my name is Barrett Irwin, and this is my Weather and Climate Journal. The city I have chosen to track compared to Huntington is Tokyo, Japan. So this part wasn't required in the required pictures, but I thought it was interesting that Huntington and Japan are both in the Northern Hemisphere. This shows that we have similar characteristics to our seasons, but because we're on the opposite side of the globe, Tokyo is a day ahead of us. Moving on to the geography of both cities, West Virginia is known as an inland city with the Ohio River, with forests and mountains surrounding it since it's located near the Appalachian area. Tokyo has a similar structure with mountain regions, but because it's also an island surrounded by the ocean, the factors are very different. West Virginia also has an elevation of 564 feet above sea level, while Tokyo's varies with an average of 131 feet, but the highest of one of the mountains is 6,617 feet above sea level. This is something that I also found interesting because I wasn't expecting these two completely different cities on opposite sides of the world to have the same climate zone. Both have a humid subtropical climate, and this relates to having hot, long, and humid summers with mild and wet winters. These climate graphs show the average temperature range along with the amount of rain from each season. We can see that both are similar, with Tokyo's highest precipitation happening in October with nearly 10 inches of rain and a highest temperature of around 80 degrees Fahrenheit in August. Similarly, Huntington's precipitation remains pretty stable with the highest at around 5 inches of rain in May and July, and the highest temperature reaching also around 80 degrees Fahrenheit in May and July as well. These two cities both represent their humid subtropical climates well. These are the pictures representing the weather that I have gotten of Tokyo so far. In the first week, there were pretty mild temperatures with cloudy days mostly and some sunny days also in those cloudy days. And on the same day, the picture to the right shows the rain that was happening on that day, and then the bottom two pictures show the second week that I got for Tokyo's weather, and they also remain about the same with mild, stable temperatures and mostly cloudy days as well. These are pictures of the satellite maps for Tokyo, Japan that I have gotten from the past 2 weeks. And these show a good amount of clouds, not necessarily super near Tokyo, but around the area. And this can mean there's low pressure, so this causes some mild storms to pass by and a good amount of rain here and there too. Moving on to the weather for Huntington, the forecasts for the past 2 weeks in Huntington represent pretty similar statistics compared to Tokyo. The first week there were some pretty high temperatures with some pretty low temperatures, but the second week was pretty stable. We can see on the first week that there were clear and sunny skies with also some cloudy skies too, but in the second week I coincidentally caught this on a day that it was raining pretty bad, so those blue and purple spots indicate that there was a pretty good storm happening at that time too. Along with the weather in Huntington, these are the pictures of the satellite maps that I got from the past 2 weeks. The first picture represents the first week, or the first day that I took the pictures, and it was pretty subtle, not a lot of clouds, which means there's pretty clear sky. But the second week there's a very good amount of clouds, and this indicates that there was heavy rainfall because there was a storm that day, so this makes sense. Now looking at the sun elevation graphs for Huntington, we can see that the sun's highest peak is in June 21st, which is our summer, and its lowest height is at December 21st, which is our winter. And from these two pictures, we can see that because we're going into the fall season, it's evident that the amounts of sunlight is becoming equal compared to the amounts of light during the night. When looking at the sun elevation graphs for Tokyo, the height of the sun is very similar to us, where they have their summer in June 21st and their winter also in December 21st too. But the primary difference here between the two graphs from Tokyo to us is that the Tokyo sun rises much earlier than ours, and this can be because they're much farther eastern of the globe than we are, so they see the sun when it rises before we do. These are the wind graphs for Tokyo and Huntington, and we can see that the wind is going all different kinds of directions for both places, but the main difference here is that the wind is much more calmer here as an inland location than it is in Tokyo being an island, because there's oceans around it and water, so this increases the wind too. These are the pictures of the temperature in Tokyo from the past 2 weeks. They're pretty consistent, but we can see that the second week it was much hotter in the Tokyo region than the first week. And very similarly, these are the temperatures for Huntington. The first week it was much hotter, almost going into the around 80s, and the second week it was cooler and very consistent as well compared to the Tokyo temperatures.